Welcome, everyone. Welcome to day 6 as we read through the life and teachings of Jesus Christ over this 2-week period. We are stepping back into one of the most famous talks that Jesus ever gave, the Sermon on the Mount. Yesterday we were in day 5. We were in Matthew chapter 5 for day 5 of the Sermon on the Mount. And so today we are in Matthew chapter 6. Remember, we're on that hillside, a crowd of kind of just ordinary people. Jesus was sitting down to teach them what life in God's kingdom actually looks like. Now, here's a thread to listen for all night. Jesus keeps asking one question. Who are you really living for? Not the crowd, not the likes, not the highlight reels. He calls us to live for one audience, or an audience of one, God, who sees everything done in secret. So keep that question in your back pocket as we go. Before we dive in, let's get our bearings. Chapter 6 sits right in the middle of the Sermon on the Mount, chapters 5 through 7, the longest stretch of teachings, of Jesus' teachings that we have. In chapter 5, he's just flipped everyone's expectations upside down. And now in chapter 6, he gets practical. So watch for 3 everyday habits: giving, prayer, and fasting. And one big invitation to stop worrying and trust your Father instead. So if you remember nothing else tonight, remember this: do what's right to please God, not to be seen by people. That one idea holds this whole chapter together. So let's start with generosity. Jesus paints a picture that would have made his listeners laugh. Someone about to drop a coin in the offering, practically hiring a trumpet player to announce it. We have our own versions, right? The post, the story, the humble brag. Jesus says that when you give to be noticed, the attention is the whole reward. You've already cashed it in. But when you give quietly, your Father who sees in secret is the one keeping track. So here's a question to toss out. What would change about the good you do if you knew no one would ever find out? Now, Jesus turns to prayer, and again, he warns against turning it into a performance. God isn't impressed by fancy words or endless repetition. He already knows what you need before you ask. Then Jesus hands us a model, the Lord's Prayer, and it's beautifully simple. So let's walk through this pattern. We praise God as Father, seek his kingdom and his will, ask for our daily needs, and ask for forgiveness as we forgive others. And now don't rush past that last part. Jesus circles back to it on purpose. Prayer isn't about sounding holy. It's about being honest with a Father who's actually listening. So these verses pull back the curtain on our hearts. First, fasting. Don't make a show of going without. Just let it quietly draw you toward God. Then Jesus talks about treasure. Whatever you pour your money, time, and attention into is where your heart ends up living. So he asks, where are you storing yours, here or in heaven? And he lands it with a line nobody can dodge. You cannot serve both God and money. One of them will end up running your life. This is a great spot to pause and ask, what's competing for the top spot in your heart right now? This might be the part that you might need most. Jesus knows we're anxious about grades, friendships, and the future, all of it. So he points to the birds that don't stress about their next meal and the wildflowers that outshine a king's wardrobe. And he says, if God takes care of them, how much more will he take care of you? Worrying can't add a single hour to your life. It just robs today of its peace. And notice his answer isn't try harder. It's seek first the kingdom. Put God at the center and trust him with the rest, one day at a time. Let's bring it home. Everything in this chapter comes back to one heart posture. Live for God's eyes, not the crowd's. Give quietly, pray honestly, forgive freely, hold your stuff loosely, and trade your worry for trust. None of this is about being perfect. It's about who you're trying to please. So I'm going to send you out with one challenge this week. Pick just one: secret generosity, honest prayer, or handing God a single worry, and actually try it. That's where Matthew 6 stops being a lesson and starts becoming real. So go ahead and spend some time in prayer today about what you plan on working on this week. And join me tomorrow and we'll get into our next reading. See ya. Take care. Bye.